Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, I'm home. As you guys know, if you watched the last couple of videos, I've been traveling. First up north for the BWCA trip, and then I had some more travels after that, all over the place. It was fun, but of course, it's always nice to be home. And I bet all of you have seen enough of me already. Everybody's been wanting to see the main star of this channel. Well, here she is. Lulu, come say hello, everybody. They missed you. Yeah. Oh, there she is. All right, there she is. So I was very happy to see my baby. She was very happy to see me too. Um, but she was in good care, and so she's was swimming a lot and having fun with her. It was actually my wife's sister-in-law who was taking care of her, and she loves her, and so. But she was definitely happy to have her dad home, and so I was happy to see her too. Anyway, um, what are we doing today? Well, through those travels, I made a pit stop in Arkansas, and my best friend, one of my best friends, and his wife, also my dear friend, live there, and have a kind of a homestead that they've built. Beautiful home, animals, gardens. It's just gorgeous. They have a beautiful family, and they were nice enough to welcome me in, and we had a great trip. But on my last morning there, uh, they treated me to the best biscuits and gravy that I've had in a long time. And I've been thinking about those biscuits, Angela. And I'm come up with my own idea. I'm going to do a little spin on that with my own recipe. We are going to do a Cowboy Benedict. Ooh, right? We're going to get some biscuits. We're going to make some homemade sausage gravy. We're going to get a poached egg, and then we're going to put that all together. And it's going to be, don't forget some bacon. There might be a little bit of bacon in there too. It's going to be good. Happy to share this with you guys. I think you're going to enjoy it. Uh, and like I said, it's great to be home, back on the channel, get some cooking videos out there. Thank you for everybody that's come back. And Luna and I very much appreciate it. Um, uh, if you aren't already and like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Hit that thumbs up button and get those notifications. When I bring you guys back, we'll be in the kitchen. I'm going to show you what we are working with. Be back in a bit. Oh, by the way, hey, cheers, everybody. See you in a bit. And welcome back, everyone. As you can see in front of you, we have some fun, tasty ingredients in front of us. Let me tell you what we're working with. Over here on the left, you can see we have some green onions. That's actually going to be a garnish once everything's all finished. We got some fresh garlic and some shallots back there. A lot of folks may not like onions in their gravy. However, I think it adds a textural component as well as a very nice flavor. So I like that in mine. Little spin of my own. Of course, we got some pepper and salt. White wine vinegar. That's actually going to be for the poached eggs. It's an anti-coagulant. I think that's the right word. Anyway, when you get that water up to the right temperature, you get a little vinegar in there, you get those eggs in there. I'm going to show you how we do that, but that's what that's for. Of course, we have some bacon. We're going to cook that bacon down because we're going to use both the drippings and the bacon in this recipe. Show you how we're going to do that. Got some really nice fresh pork breakfast sausage there, which is, of course, the base of our gravy. That's going to be very, very tasty. We got our eggs, and of course, I like whenever I make a dish like this, corned beef hash, sausage gravy, I like the uh, component of a little something fresh with the meal. So in this case, we got a little rosemary and some cherry tomatoes back there. That's going to be also kind of a garnish to our final product. Of course, we got some flour back there. We got the butter. We have some half and half. A lot of folks may just like to use milk. I think that the half and half adds a little bit more to it, a little bit more creaminess to the gravy. So that's something I like to do. And of course, we got our biscuits. Dave, those don't look homemade. Well, sometimes we have to cut corners where we can. Those definitely are not homemade, but I think they're going to be just good enough, well enough as they are. We'll let you guys know. In any event, when we come back, I will get this started and I will show you how to do this. Be back in a bit. So we've got our pan, cast iron pan here, which I think is super important when you're doing a sausage gravy, piping hot. So we want to get a little color on that sausage. So let's get that down in there. Oh yeah, I have a little bit of olive oil down there. See that sizzle? That's what we want to get that hot pan out of the way. We're just going to break this down to small pieces. And what we're going to do, once that cooks down a bit, we will add our shallots. Now we're going to want to wait on that garlic till about 1 or 2 minutes before everything is all cooked up. And then we're going to throw that minced fresh garlic in there as well. So that is cooking down. Now you'll notice over here that we have our bacon in a separate dish. And what I like to do with the bacon, I actually like to cook that in the oven, preheated 375-degree oven for about half an hour or so. I find you get that really, really crispy, no burnt type of bacon. And it's very consistent throughout the slices of bacon. So I know that the purists may not like that, but I feel like it works for me. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to throw the bacon in like I said, about a preheated 375-degree oven right now. We'll get that down. And of course, we're going to reserve both the some of the drippings from the sausage as it cooks down, and also from that bacon when that is complete. Yeah, so we got that. Let's integrate those shallots into the sausage. All right. And what we're actually going to do is once the sausage and onions or shallots are all cooked here, we're going to remove that from the heat, and of course we're going to save our fond down there, all the goodness that is going to be leaving the sausage and all those juices which are going to blend with those onions. It's going to be really good. So when I bring you back, we will start working on our gravy. Be back in a bit. So as you all can see, we have finished cooking our sausage. However, we've reserved some of those nice sausage drippings there. And I would add that I added a little bit of sage to that in addition to pepper and salt. I like that fresh, earthy, or earthy is not the right word, but the hearty, traditional taste of that sage, and it works really well with the sausage gravy. So a little sage in there. So you can see, we started to get our water going for our poached eggs over there. The key with that is going to be temperature. We're looking for that magic 190, and I will explain more of that when we get into the poached eggs, but that's what we're doing there. Our bacon's done, perfect crispiness, just really well done. So let's get a little bit of, I've reserved a little bit of those bacon drippings, so we'll get that down in there. Okay. And then we also have, of course, a little bit of butter, so we're going to get that as well. And once that gets down, we don't really want that butter to brown too much. Let's get our whisk here. Let's get this all nice, and as you can see, we have about a medium heat going on this pan here. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's get our flour here. We want about, how much? About that much, maybe a little bit more, maybe 3 tablespoons or so. Can't really go wrong with it. Guess you probably could, but I don't think we are. So what we're going to do with that flour is we're just going to cook that down, mix that with those nice sausage dripping, the butter, the bacon drippings, and we want to get that flour taste out of there. So we're just going to let that cook down for a few minutes. While that's working, and you can see it's getting exactly what it's supposed to do, which is it picks up all that fond from the bottom of the pan, and that's where all the flavor is. So that is good. So as mentioned before, I like to use a half and half. So we're just going to slowly start integrating that in, and we're just going to continue to stir that until we get to the consistency that we want. We may have to add a little bit more milk, possibly, or a little bit more half and half, possibly. We shall see. We're going to cook that down to get that nice thick texture that we're looking for. So let me work on that, and when I bring you guys back, we will reintroduce that sausage to our gravy. Okay, as you guys can see, we've got our gravy to a really nice consistency. I ended up having to add about maybe half as much more to about twice as much more as I had in that original cup to get it to this consistency, but that's pretty much where I want it to be. So now let's reintegrate our sausage and onions and garlic back into there, which is going to be very good. The nice thing about this is as this continues to sit, it's just going to get more and more flavorful and thicker. And so it's good to, give it a good half hour to just be on low, and just integrate in there and get to exactly the way you want it. Of course, we still got to cook those biscuits and we got to get our poached eggs done. But as you can see, this is looking exactly how I would like it to look. Now, the only thing now to do with this was, of course, we want to add some black pepper. What is a sausage gravy without a pretty large amount of black pepper? Let's get some of that in there. And there's so much depth of flavor in this between the richness of the cream or the half and half and then the flavor, the nice saltiness of the pork. It's just going to make for a really beautiful gravy. So I'm going to go a little light on the salt. You can always add it, but you cannot take it away. So that's about how much I'm going to add there. Let's let that, like I said, we're just going to keep this on low and just let that simmer for about as long as it takes to get everything else ready. So what we're going to do now is start thinking about our poached egg, and there is definitely a process to that. So when I bring everybody back, I will show you what that process is. Okay, hang in there. Okay, as you can see, we've switched things around here a little bit. We've got our gravy simmering over here, and if you guys have watched my channel for some time, you know that I kind of cook in a certain way that's not an exact science. However, when it comes to poached eggs, there is some exact science to this, and there's just no way of getting around it. One, it's really helpful to have one of these handy-dandy thermometers because you really need this water to get right to 190, which is right where we're at right now. 190 degrees is the magic number. Then we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of this white wine vinegar. That's about 1. This can be a little bit guesstimated, but you can't really skip it. It's an important ingredient. So we've got about 2 tablespoons of that integrated in there. The other really important thing is we want to get our whisk, and we want to get like kind of a whirlpool going in our pan here. And what that does is that keeps the egg off the bottom of the pan and just kind of keeps it swimming around. You can see I've got the egg in a separate dish, and that's also really important. Lowering gently the egg into the water helps you end up with a perfect final product, and you can see that egg is swimming exactly the way we want. We're going to do 2, which is totally fine. So let's get that other one in there, just real gentle. Oh, there we go. And you can kind of help it along, help that water along as we go. Now, the other exact science part of this is timing. Exactly 5 minutes after you put these eggs into this water, you're going to want to get those out of there. And the way you do that is with a nice slotted spoon. Oh, what would you know? Right here. That's what we're going to use after 5 minutes. And then, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to get a nice clean dish towel, and we're going to let those eggs rest on that towel. And if you do all those things, you're going to end up with a perfect poached egg. It's going to be great for our Cowboy Benedict. When I bring you guys back, we will get this all prepared. Be back in a bit. Oh boy. As you can see, we have created something beautiful here. What we have here is we have a Cowboy Benedict. Bottom layer of that is that biscuit. We've got some of that really crispy bacon, that poached egg right on top there, and then smothered and covered with homemade sausage gravy. Garnished there with a little chopped onion, and of course those fresh tomatoes and a little bit of rosemary. I'm going to, of course, do the big bite, but I want to show you guys something here. If we go in here, you're going to see that poached. Oh, you guys see that? You see how that egg just breaks right there and blends with everything? That, my friends, is going to be extremely tasty. So it looks good, looks great, smells great, but we never know until we go in for that big bite. Be back in a bit, and that's what we'll do. Okay, here we go for that big bite. Well, you guys saw it. Looks good, smells good. Might have snuck a little hot sauce in there, as you guys know. I like that, but you never know until we get that big bite. Oh, somebody else is sneaking around here. Might need to give my Luna a little bacon. Lulu, let's do that before we start this. Come here. Lulu, come here. Lulu, come. Lulu. All right, here we go. All right, guys, let's go in for that bite. I want a little bit of everything. I want to make sure we get to that biscuit and the gravy, the egg. Woo, it's gonna be good. Mmm. Mmm. Pardon me. Wow. Wow. That is really good. Mmm. It just really works. Just such a traditional flavor. You got just the richness of the gravy, and then you got the saltiness of the bacon, the crispiness. The gravy, of course, is just so rich and creamy with the sausage, and then the onions kind of add a little bit on the top, a little garnish. It's just so good. And then the egg, the creaminess of the yolk, how it's spread through everything, just is super yummy. I think you guys are really gonna like this. So, like I say all the time, if you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. If you are not already, hit the thumbs up button and get those notifications. We will catch y'all in the next one. Cheers.